Yeah, welcome to another episode of the Absolute Escapies Comics Podcast. Today is Wednesday, March 25th, 2026. It's just me and Persephone today, so no song, unfortunately.
Perl has been captured in the PlayStation mines where she is forced to do hard labor for the next week. Unfortunately, there will be no song, though I did consider doing one. But it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah. Perl is a pog, prisoner of gaming. So today it's just going to be comics talk. I don't have a lot of time because I have to go to my real job in an hour or two. Yeah. But we're gonna jump right in.
Can we just like lightning round, not even getting into it, but just lightning round then some news with like Sam Keith dying.
Oh yeah, Sam Keith is dead.
And the Silver Sprocket storefront closed yesterday.
Yeah, Silver Sprocket is dead. That's not true. Just the storefront in the Mission is closed. The fate of their publishing empire is unknown as of yet. It seems like they're still planning on putting out books. They've said they're still planning on putting out books. But I'm skeptical about how long that's gonna last.
We'll sure see. That said, Avi didn't tell any of their workers that this was happening, so there's a GoFundMe up now.
Yeah. Super fun, exciting stuff.
I'd just like to read one brief note from a Sprocket, somebody who has inside knowledge on Sprocket, but I will not name names. Their quote here is for why Sprocket failed. Quote, "I ran my radical indie zine shop like a McDonald's and racked up thousands in debt, and when my staff tried to unionize, call me out on my various levels of bullshit / mismanagement of funds. I union busted and got exposed, even more so, gonna save face and sell my house and close the shop and fuck everyone else over, because at least when everyone else under this gets broken houseless, I can go back home to Israel." Which was a nasty drag.
Wow.
But
is Avi going back to Israel?
There's some like Israeli connection that is weird.
Were they born in Israel? Because they don't. I mean, I would have assumed they're like anti-Zionist.
My understanding, and this is hearsay. I want to be very clear that this is hearsay. And this is not like. Don't quote me on this as legally actionable. In case Avi decides to get any ideas. But my understanding is that they were like very dodgy on it until other employees kind of pushed them.
Yeah. Which is classic.
Yeah, many such cases.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the main news. I mean, I'm not really super sad to see Sprocket's publishing go. I think the posts are really kind of all of the responses to the posts, I think, greatly exaggerate the importance of Sprocket to the indie comics world. I've seen a lot of posts that are like, oh, this is like a great blow to comics everywhere, and like there was no one like you guys and stuff like that. And I just think like anyone who thinks that is not really part of the scene. I mean, Sprocket was great for a long time, but they're not an essential part of the indie comics or kind of zine world in general. And I actually don't think that what they provided, especially now, is of particular novelty or uniqueness. Although when they first kind of hit the scene, I think a lot of what they provided was a platform for independent creators to put work out in a way that left them with more time to make more art, and in a way that allowed them to not have to learn how to publicize themselves and market themselves, because Sprocket could do that for them. I've heard several artists talk about this, where cartoonists just felt like publishing through Sprocket allowed for more time to create their art rather than kind of posting about their book, paying for printing costs, that kind of thing. But then again, there were plenty of recent allegations of financial malpractice surrounding artists and their employees. So it seems like even that kind of aspect of it's saving me time and money has gone out the door in the last few years. And honestly, the catalog from Sprocket for like the last 10 months has been supremely underwhelming, and it just feels like they're kind of putting out sad parody reflections of the stuff that they used to put out that was so good.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, if you're looking for really cutting edge comics, Sprocket has not been the place to find them for a really long time. There's so many other little small presses and stuff putting out better work more consistently and also paying their artists. So yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about Sprocket, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always sad to see one go down, but also I really don't think it's that huge of a blow to the community at large.
Yeah, there's better small presses right now, like Piao and Strangers Publishing are both infinite, and Iron Circus are infinitely better. If you're looking for queer cartoonists, like Erica Price is doing excellent work.
Can I take one of these?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, you can take one of those. Yeah.
Something to.
Yeah, that was another thing that I was seeing a lot of people kind of talk about with Sprocket was like, oh, this is the only press that's publishing queer cartoonists and queer writers, or cartoonists of color, or queer writers of color, and that's just not the case, and for a really long time that's never really been the case. And I also think a quick perusal of the roster of cartoonists and writers on Silver Sprocket's website will reveal far less diversity than I think that they really market themselves with. And
one trans woman and one black person have ever been published by Sprocket.
Yeah, it's not actually the best track record, but they really, really lean into it and all of their sort of publicity and things. And like there's probably honestly more like racial and gender diversity in like the DC roster right now.
Yeah.
Not even just because like there's more people working for them, but like I think if you looked at kind of like a pie chart breakdown of diversity from like DC versus Silver Sprocket, you'd find that DC is actually like more diverse. And you'd also find that in some degrees they're putting out more formalistically challenging stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely better stuff. I mean, I used to be a member of like the Silver Sprocket membership drive that they were pushing when they were going out of business, and I dropped it after like 2 or 3 months because none of the books that they were sending out to me were good.
Yeah.
They were really uninteresting. It felt like the before Watchmen of Silver Sprocket, where like they just started creating stuff that was kind of a misty echo of when they were good. And anyway, that's Sprocket.
Yeah, if you're losing to DC and if DC Comics and the diversity and interesting work department, like you're losing chess to a dog, as the saying goes. Like you should be able to beat out the big two as a queer publisher. Being a white trans mask chaser is not radical, actually. Sorry, Obvi. And yeah, if you're looking for like queer publishers and publishers of color, like Iron Circus has similar, and yeah, all the publishers I said, like C. Spike Trotman, Ben Passmore still doing work. H.A. from formerly of Sprocket is still doing work and publishing more chromatic fantasy. Erica Price does really good like underground queer horror comics. Same with Freya J.N. I'm definitely forgetting a ton of people here, but like the list goes on. Like there are queer people and people of color. Olivia Stevens, who did Black Cassandra recently, and some other stuff. Like there's really, really good queer cartoonists and cartoonists of color out there that like never would have gotten play at Sprocket because Avi was more interested in like chasing white trans masks than they were publishing good books after a certain point. And it sucks that the rest of Sprocket got fucked over because of that. But there's good artists everywhere for those with the eyes to see. You know, actually, I guess 2 black people because they did publish the Bloody Mary, but that was honestly only after a friend heckled them a bunch and was like, "Hey, why are you only publishing white people?"
Yeah.
I guess Cry Wolf too, but that was a reprint.
I did recently read Sports as Hell. Really good. Not really. I mean, that's not really Silver Sprocket's fault. I mean, it's a Silver Sprocket book, but it's all Ben Passmore.
Yeah.
Just banging book. Super fucking surreal and funny and horrifying, all wrapped up into one.
It's so good. He did a book with Ezra Clayton Daniels some years back called Bottom Feeders. That was also really good.
I really want to read Bottom Feeders. Yeah,
It's
that's
good.
been on my list for a while.
It's real good.
Let's talk new comics.
Yeah, where do we want to start first?
Why don't we start with I can jump off with the new Harley Quinn run.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
So this is the newest issue of Harley Quinn. It's issue 60. Came out today. It's written by Elliot Callan, who's a comedian by trade, and like doesn't have a ton of comics experience to his name. And it's drawn by Carlos Olivares, who's got kind of like a DWJ inspired thing going on in this Harley run so far, but like a little less kind of like strikingly colored, and with a little more clarity to it going on. And then colored by Marissa Louise, who seems like she's maybe the most experienced of the team, but honestly it's put out by like a pretty low-key group of people, with not a super long list of credits, but it's the start of a new, if not new run, new storyline.
I think new artist and new storyline. I think the writers hold over.
Let's see what League of Comics Geeks has to say. Yeah, so Elliot Callan's been writing the run, it sounds like, for a while now. Artists and colorists have remained the same, at least from the issue before. But
because he's been doing it for a few. Okay.
This is the start of a new story arc. You could totally jump in here, because I did. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of I guess it ties into like the Batman run and other Gotham storylines, but really I think you could read this pretty standalone. All you have to really know is that Poison Ivy is going to be or has become the mayor of Gotham, and other than that, it's like kind of it, really. I guess you have to like know who Harley Quinn is. Mm-hmm. And it's really funny.
Yeah.
It's really funny. It's really well drawn. Olivares' art is beautiful on it. Makes a lot of sense to me that Callan is a comedian by trade, because this is really tightly scripted. The way I described this to Persephone earlier was if Becky Cloonan's disappointing run on Batgirls actually was really funny. Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of nails it. And they really lean into Harley's Judaism and Jewish identity, which is fun, without obviously like having her go to synagogue or something, because she's not exactly a devout individual. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's like kind of it's sort of a very action-packed first issue, overlaid with like really hilarious kind of meta voiceover in the form of like what Harley calls an interior journal, which is just her thoughts. It's just her brain working.
Brooding loner in her monologue journal.
Yeah.
This is good. Like, it's riffing on like the brooding anti-hero thing very well. Usually when people are riffing on that, including Lobo, it's not good. But this feels like very good. You know, very early bits being like, some might say it always smelled pretty bad. To them, I'd say, shut up. That some might claim I ran out in this neighborhood when it needed me most. Some, if that even is their real name, can't see that my dark heart has been torn by life's misery and stitched together with fate's barbed wire.
Yeah, I do really think if you like the kind of self-aware comic writing style of say, like, maybe peak I Hate Fairyland, or, like, if you're a Deadpool fan but wish he was a woman.
And better.
Or if you read Lobo and you were like, wow, I really just wish this wasn't bad. Or, like, felt that it really left something to be desired, this is definitely for you. I also think if you're, like, out there in the world reading the new Sirens series or the new Harley and Ivy series, both of which we've raved about on this podcast, I think you will be very pleasantly surprised by how good and funny this is. But it's not a carbon copy of either of those series. Like, you really are feeling like you're reading a totally unique comic in and of itself. And it's also, honestly, a run of the Harley character that I haven't really ever seen before.
Yeah.
And I think if you read this along with Sirens and Harley and Ivy, you get, like, 3 really interesting angles on this very multifaceted character. Like, I think Harley and Ivy is kind of a backstory comic, and it's got, like, a real romance tinge to it, while also having, like, a real kind of melancholic undertone about the kind of trauma and past that she had with the Joker and how that affects her ability to love and be intimate and close with people. And then Sirens is, like, this very glossy, glamorous, sexy, like, kind of femme fatale crime book, which is also really funny. All 3 of these series are hilarious in very different ways. The artists are killing it, and the writers are doing a great job. And then this is just, like, this is action-packed. It's Harley, like, throwing shit at people. It's her punching people, breaking arms, Daniel Warren Johnson, Absolute Batman Annual style.
A pipe with Batarang written on it, and she just beat, like, fucking beans it out of the guy's head.
Yeah, it's really good. I think it's a really fun addition to the DC female hero cast, too, which feels really dominated by Absolute Wonder Woman right now. And I feel like it's been fun to see Harley really get a lot of ink spilled on her behalf.
And 3, as you said, really good series in very different ways. Like, it's rare to have... I often complain about characters having too many books, but this feels like the case where, like, there are 3... And admittedly, this helps because 2 of them are, like, miniseries. But, like, 3 really rock-solid books about a character that have very different angles. Like, this feels like if you're going to have multiple books on a character, this is kind of what you should be... Like, they all should be coming at these very different angles, rather than, like... I don't know, Fantastic Four versus Planet of the Apes, and Fantastic Four, we're doing a movie tie-in this week for some reason. Which they are. That's on the shelf this week.
Yeah, I saw that cover. Really confused me. It seems,
late?
Yeah.
Marvel is asleep at the wheel, but so it goes. But yeah, it's nice to see, like, a good Harley book. And, like, I have been kind of glossing over the mainline Harley title for some time, but that seems to have been a mistake on my part. I'm very pleasantly surprised by this book, and I probably will keep reading this one too. And then, kind of speaking on, unless there's more to say on Harley,
I don't think so.
Speaking of pleasant surprises, Ryan North's run on the Flash. I have long said that the Flash is a character that I like a lot more in theory than, like, in actual practice. But cracking this open, God willing, I might actually subscribe. Let me phrase that. I am now subscribed to a Flash book. Ryan North just kind of fucking nails it, like, right out of the park. He's just kind of like a perfect Flash writer, both on, like, he just, like, has the science. He's like a science guy. He's very knowledgeable, so that's very on lock. But he's also makes it very approachable and fun and warm and funny, which is just kind of perfect for him. He writes a really fun Linda, who gets to kind of, like, not just be, like, Flash's wife, even though she's, like, very briefly in here. Like, she feels like a lot of personality and, like, just comes out in a very small space. I like his lock on Wally's voice specifically. Like, there's that kind of bit where he's talking about, like, Barry's the science guy. Like, he believes in, like, the cold hard facts of the universe, and, like, he's a science knower, not a scientist. Like,
yeah.
He's the hope guy. He's the dad guy. And like we've talked about it before, and this is the last thing I'll say for a second, but like there's a joke in video games about the dadification of games, where like dads started writing games about how like sad they were about like they were like sad and happy about being dads or whatever. There's a dadification of comics that goes in the opposite direction, where it's like so sweet and tender, and like you see this with Fraction's Batman, and you see this with Ryan North's Flash,
Yeah.
of like dads who love being silly dads. Like they just seem like very nice dudes to be fathers, you know?
Yeah, it's present in Wade's World's Finest right now too. You get like a lot of really fun, not necessarily sitcom-y, but like comedic and in a very like digestible, sweet way, moments of like Superman and Batman both trying to be like father figures to these various young heroes, and kind of succeeding and failing all at once, and having like different philosophies about it and stuff. And you get a lot of kind of like eye contact between the two of them and stuff. It's nice to see. And I think DC is doing this way more than Marvel, because everything at Marvel just feels so cynical and bleak right now.
Yeah.
Other than like Ultimate X-Men, and I mean even Ultimate Spider-Man, I think is tinged by it a little bit. These just feel really sweet, and it feels like the people creating them really, really care about what they're creating and who they're writing. And the art is great. I mean, it's really simple. I think it feels, it doesn't feel revolutionary. I think I would describe this as just really, really competent, and really good. It feels like someone who really understands the work that they're being given. The artist on it is, I'm blanking on their first name, Gavin Guidry, and the coloring is also really solid. The coloring is from Adriana Lucas, both of whom are definitely pros, and it's also, I love Ryan North. We've talked about Fantastic Four a lot on the pod, and I'm behind on Fantastic Four, unfortunately, but North is like another kind of old hand at comics for sure, along the lines of like an Al Ewing or a Mark Waid, just like a pro, and he's another writer who doesn't feel super steeped in irony or cynicism with the series that he's creating, and this really shines through here. There's like so much saving of innocent people in jeopardy in this book, which I've said before, and I will continue to say it, is the hallmark of a well-made superhero title. It's just that they save people.
Yeah.
Above all else. Like, I don't need to see Superman punching Doomsday.
Yeah, I don't really care.
I need to see him, like, saving someone who's gonna get crushed by a building or something.
Yeah.
Or even just, like, there's a great, like, throwaway gag in here that you don't really even, like, notice unless you know it's there, but he's speeding through a park, and in the background, I don't know if you noticed this, in the background of the park, this kid's ice cream is falling off his cone. And then as he speeds by, he puts the ice cream back, and you don't see him put the ice cream back, but you just see, I mean, it's literally probably like 1.5 millimeter diameter circle of ice cream falling off this kid's cone in the background. You see the flash of Flash running by this kid, and then the little ice cream scoop is back on his cone.
That's incredible. I did miss that.
It's just like, it's that kind of thing that just feels like there's a lot of care being put into what is between the pages of this issue of The Flash, which just doesn't feel like it's being put into a lot of stuff at Marvel right now.
No.
And again, like, I will also be a Flash subscriber, and I do love The Flash. I think probably, like, I have more positive feelings about The Flash than you do. And I feel like The Flash is consistently not given the fun joy that he deserves in contemporary Flash releases. And here, I think he really is. So, bravo to Ryan North and Gavin Guidry. Bravo to DC Editorial. You're doing a pretty good job. Try not to fire any more trans women.
Yeah, you know? You know? That's... Yeah, I don't got much more to say other than that. But yeah, good fucking book. I similarly loved it. Had a great time. I kind of can't wait to read the next one.
Talk to us about Superman Spider-Man.
Okay, so I have some thoughts about this. First of all, bless you. The title story, spectacular. First one of these is actually good. Mark Waid, please write Spider-Man. I'm begging you. His Spider-Man and his Superman voices are so good here, but especially his Spider-Man is like actually funny and like instantly like investable as a person in a way that I like. If he got on AMS, I would be an AMS subscriber immediately. ASM, sorry, not AMS. ASM. I'd be a subscriber fucking immediately. It's so much fun. The interplay with Octavius and Brainiac is great. Like these two are like a really good pairing because even though they're like very different in certain ways, like Superman's life is broadly speaking usually like pretty rock solid and usually not terribly tumultuous. And he has like kind of like a solid career and relationship, whereas like Parker tends to be a lot more on shaky ground. Like they both have this like devotion to the truth and this devotion to care for other people that like Batman Deadpool doesn't have this fucking like there's no reason for those characters to fucking be together, whereas like Superman Spider-Man is actually thoughtful and engaged. Yeah, I kind of thought the title story was spectacular. Like Mark Waid's an incredible writer for this. Jorge Jimenez also has a really rock solid Spider-Man. Like if he wasn't slaying it up at under Batman right now, I'd want him on Spider-Man stat. I think he's so good. The issue is worth reading just for the title story alone. Honestly, I would have been happy if they had given them even more pages instead of a few of these. But just to kind of talk about some of the other stories. This anthology, interestingly, does a thing where it's like good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, almost perfectly. The Lois MJ thing, I was gonna joke that Tom King can only write women who are drunk teenagers doing Robert E. Howard bits, but then I remembered he's written a perfectly decent Lois before, so you know, never let it be said though that he's not a feminist, because everyone's dialogue here, including the men's, is fucking excruciating. It's like actually for real maybe the worst thing Tom King's ever written. It was actively painful to read. I do think Tom King, like somebody needs to be like, Tom, you're better than this, or at least in theory you are. What the fuck is this? Like you should, like, this is shameful. None of the characters' voices are right. They're all bad. This somehow feels misogynistic without actually doing a direct misogyny, just with how terribly written these women are. They're just kind of yammering about their husbands the whole time and how much they love each other for the magazines that they're in. It's kind of unconscionable. It's the worst thing in this issue by far. Tom King, get right with God. And then Jim Lee is kind of, it's fine. It's a novelty to see him do Spider-Man, but other than that, it's not interesting. Superboy Prime and Symbiote Suit Spider-Man. Christopher Priest also has a pretty solid voice on Peter. His voice on Superboy Prime's a little odd, a little bruh-y, you know, a little bit like 2020s man voice, but it's like fun, and it does like a meta thing in a way that feels like fun and weird and not too heavy. But like there's a good voice here. There's an arc actually, because we've talked about that like any single issue should have like an arc to it.
Yeah.
And this anthology piece that Christopher Priest does has an arc. Like in a very small amount of pages, he has more of an arc than like most people writing Cape stuff for like. More arc in that single bit than most Cape books have in like a whole arc. Bless you. It's not like it's not gonna change your life. Bless you, but it's fun. The art's fine. It's Daniel Sampere, the guy who's doing Wonder Woman, cis Wonder Woman right now.
Cis Wonder Woman.
That's what Perl calls the Tom King Wonder Woman, is cis Wonder Woman. Superboy in 2099, it's fine. It's not even a story. It's the introduction to a story that happens completely after that we'll never get. Barely worth talking about. Jimmy Olsen Carnage, only my baby boys, Matt Fraction and Steve Leiber, could make me read a comic with Carnage in it, but it's good. It's cute. It's insubstantial. It's only, 4 pages, but like, it's funny. It's cute. They should have cut all of Tom King and Jim Lee's fucking pages and given it to my baby boys. Go read Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen if you haven't read it. It's so good. It's so funny. Really good Silver Age riff. The Jeff Lemire, Rafa Sandoval, Pa Kent, Uncle Ben story is fine. It's crazy that like the story that's happening visually, like the narration gets in the way of a much more interesting, or I mean not even much more interesting. It just gets in the way of what's like very simple and very easy, like a very simple, very easy story. The narration just kind of gets in the way. But it's not offensively bad. It's just kind of middling. The Daily Planet versus the Bugle that Greg Rucka and Nicholas Scott are doing. Look, we all love J. Jonah Jameson just being a hater for the love of the game, but it's cool to see a book that has him argue a case with real reasoning and thought behind it. Even if you don't agree with it, I for the first time really was like, oh, I see like J. Jonah Jameson is like a person with sound reasoning, other than just like a guy who's a hater.
Yeah, I like when they give him enough characterization to have intelligence.
Yeah.
I think he's a character who should be treated with enough respect to not be like a pathetic caricature of himself.
Yeah.
And I do think to a certain degree, the kind of reductionism of him is a product of Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
Because he's as he's played by J.K. Simmons. I mean, he's great as played by J.K. Simmons, but he's also very caricature-ish.
Yeah.
Which I think has had like a lot of effect on his character since.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited to see that he's well written here.
He's well written here. I like him. I would love to see Rucka do a Planet Daily Bugle book. I would like to see him do a newspaper book. Like, he just has a good...
Yeah, I would love for them to bring back, like, Marvel Frontlines or something. Because Marvel just needs anything that's interesting so badly right now.
It really does. And then Power Girl Punisher. Is it a good comic? Not necessarily. Gail Simone and Belen Ortega do it. Is it a comic that it heavily implies that Power Girl and the Punisher fucked? Yes. Do I think that's funny, like insane enough to justify its existence? Sure. You know what? It's so funny that they like. Why would they do that? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But like, Gail Simone, your mind. I love that you decided this needed to happen, and I respect that. You know what? Fuck it. I'm not invested in Power Girl or Punisher. Whatever. Let them fuck. Who cares? That's tight. Otherwise, it's fun.
Let's let's finish this off with the latest issue of our beloved Absolute Martian Manhunter.
Yeah. After that, I'll do some lightning stuff after that.
Issue 10.
Issue 10. Yeah, we got 2 issues left, which is killing me. That said, I love that I like. I mean, like, there's a degree of like, well, okay, I know how certain things are going to end, but I feel like I don't actually have a solid grasp of like how this is going to end, and I like that.
Yeah,
I like feeling like, oh god, anything could fucking happen.
This is definitely the best issue of the last few. I think the last 2 issues were obviously really good because all of the issues are excellent, but I think that they were markedly less interesting than the few issues that came before it and then this issue. Although I have to stress this enough, they are still really, really, really good. This issue, I think, just like kind of the last 2 issues, I think, set up a lot more than they really kind of actively portray, if that makes sense. There was a lot less action in the last 2 issues than there was in this issue or the couple issues that came before it, and a lot more setup. And then this payoff all the way, and it's so worth it.
Yeah. Javier Rodriguez's colors on this are fucking incredible.
Oh yeah, he's at the top of his game on this issue. It's pretty incredible.
This is like award-winning work. Like, Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, King. Yeah, this blew me away. I don't even know really where to start other than saying it just looks fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Like, Javier Rodriguez has like been a seminal talent this entire time. But he's really just like continually finding ways to up himself or experiment and do new things.
Yeah, his style feels a lot looser in this issue than the last couple issues, which I think is definitely a purposeful stylistic choice. There's a lot more kind of experimentation with figure drawing and line work here. Stuff gets a lot less smooth and a lot more monstrous in certain panels and a lot sketchier in certain panels in a way that feels really intentional, just because so much of these issues and so much of his kind of oeuvre as a whole is so polished and so perfect, despite the fact that it's so dynamic and so psychedelically colored, whether that's in Zatanna or Defenders or Absolute Martian. And then here, when he decides to do something scratchier, something a little more monstrous, like in this panel here.
Yeah, it's a very Sienkiewicz.
It's very, it's very Sienkiewiczyan, if you will. When he chooses to kind of explore that realm a little more, it's so much more striking than it would be if you were reading something that looked a little more like it throughout the whole series. And then the writing here, Camp is really delving into a lot of the concepts that I think really sell this series for me.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting to see him kind of tying a lot of these metaphysical and more kind of like emotionally aligned thematic interests to more concrete political ideology here. You see a lot of the kind of abolitionist political thought that he writes about in his Ultimates line popping up a little bit here and there in this issue for the first time, honestly, because this has been a much less sort of explicitly politically ideological work than something like the Ultimates or 20th Century Men or sort of crisis events. But here you get some abolitionism, you get a lot of anti-war criticism, a lot of just explicit American criticism in general, which I think is really interesting. This was an issue that I will want to revisit too, just because it's just such a fun freaking read.
Yeah.
There's so much dopamine rushing through my brain as I read this issue. And I want to experience it again and again. I'm so excited to read this in trade too, to just like sit down with like a pot of coffee one morning in my comfy chair and just read it all cover to cover and have a great freaking time. This is something that I'm going to come back to, I think, over the next couple decades of my life, time and time again.
Same, yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm definitely getting an Absolute Martian tattoo at some point. I'm still figuring out what that looks like, but this book has like meant a lot to me.
Yeah, there's so much. There's so much stuff going on here. There's so much that would make a cool tattoo. It's something that's crossed my mind as well. There's a lot here too that I think feels really new to the series. So there's a lot of really explicit historical references to American history and American imperialism here that I would definitely more expect to find between the covers of the Ultimates than this. And it doesn't feel out of place in this series. It actually feels like kind of the culmination of what Camp has been building to throughout the series, especially because there's like this real tension between like what the central project of the Green Martian is versus the fact that he's inhabiting the body of an FBI agent, even one who seems genuinely invested in kind of the generally good concept of kind of attempting to counter stuff like mass shootings and white supremacist violence. And this is here he is really kind of forcing the work itself to confront that tension between what it means to be not necessarily anti-colonial, because until this issue it hasn't been explicitly anti-colonial, but what it means to be pro-humanity and pro-kindness and empathy and really genuinely pro-community in a way that you could maybe call anarchistic, with a main character who is an FBI agent, and what that really looks like in a narrative. And it makes me happy to see that, because I would have been disappointed in Camp as a writer, I think, if he hadn't confronted that in the work.
Yeah.
Because it would have felt like a real point of shallowness in an otherwise really, really deep bibliography of work for this writer over the last, 5 to 10 years.
Absolutely. Yeah, this book is one that finally, confronts the Martian, or not the Martian, but John Johns is an agent of the state, and what that means to all of the illusions about his ability to operate within the state are completely being shattered. The state itself is after him. These guys, whatever more specifically they are or how they work, we're still kind of getting that. There's a level of Steranko and Department of Truth influence here that I find very compelling, both as a Steranko and Department of Truth girly. But yeah, I mean, he even explicitly is don't do this, I have a family, I work for the FBI, and that means nothing. Because of course it means nothing.
Yeah, because the minute you go against the machine of the state will grind you up into little bits of flesh.
Yeah.
And there's some really interesting allusions, too, to, I'm looking at this panel here in which he's, I think he's drawn really clearly as an homage to a lot of kind of horrifying war photography from Vietnam.
Yeah.
And then I also love this really hilarious, dark criticism of the kind of upper middle class, upwardly mobile, white hippie generation.
Yeah.
Which appears throughout the issue in a way that is really, really freaking funny and also really disturbing. I love that the only thing that can contain the Green Martian is the entire concept of the American carceral system.
Yeah.
Which is just a great little piece thrown in there. This might be my favorite issue of the whole run so far, of the last 10 issues. This might be hands down my favorite.
Yeah, it's this one or 3 for me, because the burning down the concept of home was also...
Yeah.
But it's this might even be better than that. This is some of the most striking work.
This is the most excited I've been reading a new issue of a monthly in a while, which is awesome. Makes me happy.
It's just leaps and bounds above everything else. And yeah, kind of to your point earlier, I the first arc, I think, worked so well, both as an arc and as single issues. I think each issue functioned so well as an individual moment, whereas I think the second arc is going to read, I do think it reads really well in single issues, but I think it's going to read even better as a whole trade where you can read it at once. And that is definitely a shift from the first, where it felt more self-contained even if it was building, whereas this is absolutely not self-contained. It is building issue by issue, and it is a lot less concrete necessarily. But that said, Camp is putting all of his gas here. Javier Rodriguez is putting all of his gas here. The commentary is incredibly sharp. Artistically, it's incredibly sharp. There's a real, I don't know if you've ever played it, but there's a real Death Stranding vibe to bits of this that are hard to articulate if you haven't played those games. But as a Death Stranding truther, and just the color, Javier's work on this is his color work in general has been astonishing, but this is the best it's ever been. The complexity of color work he's doing here is insane.
I also want to shout out the lettering.
Yeah.
Just because it deserves the shout out. This is the best lettering on the show.
Hassan's going fucking crazy. Hassan is easily the best letterer in the game. And there are a lot of people I really like doing letters. I don't want to discredit their work, but Hassan is just above and beyond everybody.
He's just so above the fray.
The way people talk about Todd Klein, and Todd Klein is very important, very, very good, but the way that people talk about Todd Klein is how I feel about Hassan, is that there's so many different styles of font and so many choices, very intentional choices, and it could feel overloaded or overwhelming very easily, but Hassan is just so talented at wrapping so many intensely experimental elements and lettering styles together into something that feels genuinely cohesive. I'm never confused about where I'm supposed to be reading on the page. Like, Hassan is honestly just a fucking genius at lettering. Like, he's just so good. He's one of the best we've ever had. And we're so lucky to exist in a time where he's like lettering books. Like, even the most like milquetoast book that he's doing looks so good. Similarly, we're not going to talk about it, but The Brutal Dark, he's doing letters for The Brutal Dark. And like, I'm not going to talk about The Brutal Dark. It's good. It's fun. It continues to be like a really rock solid, Dark Horse style thing. It's a good, fun historical thing. I like it. The only thing I'm going to bring up about it is that Hassan does the lettering on it, and it brings so much, even if he's doing a lot less than Martian. These are two very different ends for him, but like both of them are astonishing. But yeah, Absolute Martian is, God, it's so fucking good, dude. I can't.
All right, hit us with your lightning round.
I'll hit us with the lightning round. Absolute Wonder Woman number 18 continues to be wonderful. Zatanna is literally me. I love her. The Zatara stuff is interesting. The use of Aphrodite continues to be really interesting, and some of the most interesting takes on Aphrodite in a while. I continue to maintain that if they don't scissor or at least kiss Zatanna and Wonder Woman by the end of this, I will be storming the DC offices. It will be my personal January 6th. That said, wonderful. Loved it. Department of Truth, I've been a little bit behind on it. That said, I'm a big Department of Truther. I think it's a really good book. I think it's a really slept on Tinian book. We're doing Christian Jurassic Park shit now, so I'm excited to see what televangelist Jurassic Park arc is going to look like. Ben Temple-Smith is the guest artist. They've been pretty good at getting guest artists on the Allison Sampson JFK stuff, and Marilyn Monroe JFK stuff is really, really good. Ultimate Endgame, I kind of can't talk about it without spoilers, so maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah, just don't.
Yeah, no spoilers. I'll say that it's some of the least interesting stuff from camp to me, overall.
Like restraining you.
Yeah. Good prose, that's it. I was gonna check out Florida Hippopotamus Cocaine Massacre. I didn't get to it. I'm not gonna get to it.
One day we'll talk about Death Fight Forever.
One day we'll talk about Death Fight Forever. It continues to be pretty, that's it.
Great cover.
Great cover, yeah. And the interiors look great. Alexis Zarit continues to look really great. The colors also are really spectacular. I was going to read Council of Frogs by Matt Emmons. I just want to shout it out because it looks really pretty.
Cute.
It looks really cute. The, a night mage dies in the water, and his blood fertilizes the eggs of a bunch of frogs, and then they become frog people, and he decides to become their weird god, and that's the setup. It looks cute. It's fun. It's a good time. I need to actually sit down and read it, but
I've been doing that.
Sitting down and reading?
No, ruling a council of frogs.
Oh. Where's your frog council? Bring them in.
They're shy.
They're shy?
Yeah.
But we could be like best friends.
I don't know, they're pretty picky.
You don't think they'd like me?
I mean, they're friends with Walter. I think he's cool.
You know what? Fair enough. I'm not like a cool musician, and I don't live a cool life on Snooki's couch or whatever. But it's fine. It's fine. I know I'm boring and shit. Frogs don't like me. I'm gayer, and frogs are fucking. They're fucking. All the frogs are fucking gay now, and they don't want to hang out with me. I'm the gay one, the gayest one.
Are you?
Between me and Walter, I'm going to say that I'm the gayer one, not the only gay one, the gayest one.
Look, I gave them your manuscript. They said they'd get to it when they get to it. If they like it, we'll hang out.
You know what? That's okay.
Anyway, y'all, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
We love you. Hope to see you in the store. If you're coming in for Harley Quinn, we only got 3 more issues of number 60. The covers are great. Hopefully we'll get more in just because it's so good. But come in and buy one.
Yeah. Start subscribing to Harley so we can order more issues because that's part of why we don't have as many.
Yeah. See y'all later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.